A Nobel Prize laureate, Rigoberta Menchú, said something, and I quite agree with her. She said, without strong watchdog institutions, impunity becomes the very foundation upon which systems of corruption are built. And if impunity is not demolished, all efforts to bring an end to corruption are in vain. Now, I still am wondering why former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diezani Alison-Madueke, is always, in one way or another, involved in corrupt practices. It beats me every time this happens. Like, I'm always like, what's happening here? Diezani appeared before the Westminster Magistrates Court in United Kingdom over an alleged £100,000 bribe. Hey, the district judge, Michael Snow, granted her a £70,000 bail and further imposed other terms, including an 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, an electronic tag to be worn by her at all times. According to Reuters, her attorney, Mark Bowen, said that although she did not formally enter a plea, she would plead not guilty, as usual. Meanwhile, her next court appearance will be on October 30th at Southwark Crown Court, which deals with serious criminal cases. Now, you would recall that Diezani was the Minister of Petroleum Resources from 2010 to 2015 during the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. And shortly before Jonathan handed over to President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015, she left the country for the UK. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission alleged that former minister stole $2.5 billion from the Nigerian government while she was a minister, and all efforts by the EFCC to arraign her have been unsuccessful, and she has not returned to Nigeria since 2015. But the anti-graft agency said on Monday that it had commenced an extradition process to bring Diezani back to Nigeria to face trial. This woman, that's how the price of her brazier that time was mind-blowing. And I ask, how can one person be like this? It's how she doesn't relent for me. The truth is, until integrity, transparency, and the fight against corruption are taught as fundamental values, we will continue to experience such a menace. As oil-rich as Nigeria is, its refineries are not functioning optimally despite having a nameplate refining capacity that exceeds demand. The chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Taiwo Oyedele, has said Nigerians should pray that the country's refineries do not work. According to Oyedele, who spoke at the platform's Independence Anniversary event, if Nigerian refineries produce petroleum, inefficiencies in the management might make a litre of petrol the most expensive in the world. He further said, Nigerians would say if only our refineries were working, then we'll be fine. Nothing can be further than that from the truth. In fact, Nigerians should come together and say, please, make sure that our refineries don't work. We should sell them. The National Assembly said we have spent over 10 trillion maintaining our refineries, even when they have not produced anything. Reacting to the sale of refineries comments, the National Controller Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Mike Osatiye, said it was best the country had its own refineries. He said, and I quote, the government that wants the refineries to work knows what they are doing. Having our own refineries guarantees energy security and would also create more jobs. You can't control what you don't own. So it is good for us to have our own. The cost of importing petrol is now very high. I think the government is moving in the right direction by making the refineries work very soon. Now, also speaking on the issue was the Director General, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, Wale Oyerinde, who said the refineries should be sold. He said, and I quote again, there has been a position. We have refineries that have not been running profitably for years now. It doesn't make sense to keep pumping money into something we can't handle. Now, here's my stance on this. As human beings that we are, once you pump money into something and you get no profit, on the long run, you either sell it off or just abandon it. I beg to also add that the problem of poor governance has been recognized as a key factor that has affected the performance of the refineries. Considering these words and that of the chairman and stakeholders, what do you think should be done to our oil refineries? Pray they never work? Agree to sell them off, or believe the government can run it profitably when fixed? Kindly share your thoughts in the comment section below. A family of 4, father, mother, and their 2 children were electrocuted during a power surge in Taraba State. The State Police Public Relations Officer Usman Abdullahi, who confirmed the incident, however, said the last child of the family survived the incident. Punch Metro gathered that the incident occurred as a result of a power surge that happened in the morning following an explosion from the transformer in the area. It was further learned that many houses in the area were affected, with many who sustained injuries currently receiving treatment in the hospital. A resident, Boniface Musa, in an interview with a correspondent said, "I was sitting in front of my apartment when my neighbor started shouting. When I turned, I saw that the transformer in our area was on fire. I quickly turned off electronic appliances and my gas cooker. I didn't know my neighbors were inside. I saw the last child of the family outside shouting as the apartment was burning. We broke into the apartment and gained access to the room. That was when we saw their lifeless body on the floor." Now, your abode is supposed to be your safest and most peaceful space, they say. What do we then say to a danger that has chosen such a space to manifest? Of all the scary hazards that will exist in your home, electrocution is one that should not be taken lightly. I just wonder, could there have been any immediate intervention from the power holding monitoring the area? Would anyone be held accountable for these deaths? This presents as a case of gross negligence, if you ask me, because this does not in any way qualify as natural occurrence, or is it? Let me know your thoughts. In the meantime, may the souls of the departed find peace.